Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand the trading setup and the market strategies you need to follow for this fresh and new day and this new week, which is also going to be a truncated week on account of a holiday on Thursday because of the Shera as well. While the festive spirit is in the air, we definitely need to find out whether this week we'll get the bulls back on the D Street. Well, if there was a definition of a forgettable week, the Nifty bulls would definitely put the last 1 week right on top of that list, because from September 18th high of 25,448, the index has given up 800 points. You can also call it an 80% of a giveaway of the 1,000 point of rally that we had witnessed on the street starting August of 29. So we've given up quite a bit in the last week alone. In fact, within the last week, it has been IT as a sector that has been the pain point of the last week for the Nifty. The 6-day fall in India's biggest technology companies has actually resulted in a wipeout of 2 lakh crore rupees in market cap as well. That's nearly 12.5% of the overall 16 lakh crore rupees of the market cap that we have lost in the overall week gone by for the markets as well. So quite a bit of a hit is what we've seen as investors and on the D Street and the bulls as well. Now remember, within IT also, we've seen it has been TCS that has contributed to 50% of that 2 lakh crore rupees of a market cap loss as well. It's fallen to a 52-week low, and in fact TCS has delivered zero returns in the last 3 years as well. So keep that in mind. Now apart from this, we are heading into a make or a break week kind of a situation for the markets now. Why am I saying that? Because of course there will be developments around tariffs that we will continue to keep an eye out on. And there are also multiple other news points to watch out for as well. Of course, the quarter comes to an end tomorrow on Tuesday, and the companies will start to begin releasing their business updates starting Wednesday as well. So that will be also another important point. All those business updates will be important in assessing how will the Q2 earnings come out with, which will start in a 10 days from now. Now remember, the business updates will start flowing in from the auto companies. They will be reporting their sales numbers and the business updates as well. Like I pointed out, Thursday is a market holiday, and just before that we also have the big RBI policy that comes out with the policy decisions on monetary decisions as well. Today is when the RBI's 3-day week meeting actually gets kick-started off. Remember, we are going to be coming out with a policy right after the last time around. US Federal Reserve has slashed their rates for the first time in 2025. So we will have to see what kind of a situation are we in. Even though RBI front-loaded the indices with some of the big bang bazooka rate cuts initially, remains to be seen what is next on the RBI's agenda and how are they assessing the impact of GST cuts and what is their suggestion on the growth forecast. Remember, at least 2 to 3 large conglomerates, brokerage houses, big investment banks have already come out with a report that they expect the growth forecast for FY26 to be higher than what they estimated earlier. So that's also going to be in focus. The Nifty has started to take on a higher side in front of you viewers, 24,737. 75 point of an uptick. This is what exactly the GIFT Nifty was indicating, and as a relief, the first tick is at least on the positive side after having witnessed 6 days of a consecutive fall on the market. So that's something that we will be looking at. So there are so many moving parts in this week that you need to definitely keep an eye out on. Whether the RBI will deliver one more rate cut or will it maintain status quo is going to be extremely important. For the Nifty, which has been sitting on a 6-day losing streak, it will be looking to get some support at the lower levels. Let's see whether that losing streak gets broken today. And of course, we'll also look at what the setup is as far as the global indices are concerned. Wall Street, these indices had ended higher on September 26th, that's Friday, mostly in line with the US inflation data that actually came in, fueled some uptick there. The broader S&P 500 index ended higher by 0.6%. Tech-heavy Nasdaq advanced by 0.4%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average also moved up by 0.6%. Markets in Asia Pacific, they traded mixed this morning. We've seen Australia's ASX 200 was up by 0.4%. South Korea's Kospi added 1% in trade as well. Japan's Nikkei, however, was slightly down in trade, about 0.6% odd or so. But let's look at, now it's a percent down. So that's where the pressure point is emerging. But just like how the GIFT Nifty was indicating, we started off on a higher note, but again It's very volatile. Look at the 42-point decline now. We are slipping towards closer to 24,600 mark. Remember, on Friday we had ended above 24,650. So remains to be seen how this volatility settled. We'll actually come to the numbers on the gift Nifty once they have settled the implied open by 9:08 odd or so. What is the situation as far as the foreign inflows and outflows are concerned? Well, foreign institutional investors, they've again net sold shares in the Indian equity markets as on Friday. 5,565 odd crore rupees is what they have sold off. Meanwhile, with every sell-off that we have been seeing for the foreign institutional investors, it has been the domestic institutional investors. They have constantly net bought either a similar or a higher amount, all this while, all through September and all through August as well. 5,599 odd crore rupees is what they have bought as on Friday of September 26. So that's also going to be an important one to look at. Now, of course, today we'll be looking at a lot of stocks that will be in focus, and that's what we are given to understand. We will also be waiting by for our guests to join in and for sharing with us what exactly is the thought on the market setup and what exactly should be the strategy that you must follow for this week. Any key segments that you should keep an eye out on. Remember, last 2 to 3 weeks, it's all about the GST focused sectors, the consumption focused sectors like autos, FMCG, consumer durables. Will they continue to ride the momentum of the festive season, or is most of the good news already priced in? Second of all, we'll again look at what happens to the IT stocks which have been down and out for a long part, and of course we'll be given to understand as to how things move up on that front. Vaishali joins in. She's the Vice President and Technical Research Head for Prabhudas Leeladhar. Vaishali Parikh, she's with us on the program. Warm welcome to you, Vaishali. Good morning. Good to have you with us. Tell us, how are you looking at the markets? We've always marked that, you bring in a lot of good luck for our Business Today viewers as well. And we are hoping that after 6 days of a rout, we do see some move on the higher side. Remember, last night also we celebrated India's victory in Asia Cup for the 9th consecutive, it was the 9th time. And, we are given to understand that at least those festive spirits and that cheer in the sports world also trickles into the stock markets world too. What's your thought? Vaishali, could you hear me? Okay, I think there is some technical glitch. We are unable to get through Vaishali. We'll try to fix that line and come back to her to really understand her thought on the markets. But right now seems like we are again trickling back to above 24,728 odd levels. So we'll keep an eye out on that as well. But let's actually focus on a lot of stocks that you can keep an eye out on. Remember, last few weeks of September have also been very heavy in terms of the primary market action, especially the last week, which was the heaviest. We actually saw 12 main board IPOs also opening in last week. So this week we are going to be seeing a lot of listing take place and some more IPO numbers that are also coming. So keep that in mind. So the mainline IPO segment will see launch of 3 new public offerings that include Glottis IPO, Fabtech Technologies IPO and Om Freight Forwards IPO as well. Now, the basis of allotment for Gen Resource Recycling IPO, BMW Ventures IPO and for EPAC Prefab Technologies IPO will get finalized today. And further, the shares of Ganesh Consumer Products IPO and Atlanta Electrics IPO will get their debut on the D Street today. So 2 new debutants and 3 of the IPOs that are opening today. Meanwhile, Pace Digitech IPO will enter the second day of subscription. Genixal Industries IPO and Trualt Bioenergy IPO will enter the final day of subscription. So there's a lot to track in the primary market space as well. Let's actually look at some stocks that you can keep in mind and the stocks that are in news. Azad Engineering is going to be in focus. Remember, the company has bagged a $73.47 million. That's almost 651 crore rupees contract from Mitsubishi Heavy Industries for turbine airfoils. So that's going to be in focus clearly. Let's also talk about defense major BEL, Bharat Electronics. That's also been in focus last entire week. This Indian Army, this stock has actually got the Indian Army tender to buy 5 to 6 regiments of Anant Shastra surface to air weapons or missile weapon systems to strengthen their air defense along with borders like Pakistan and China. The tender has been issued by the Indian Army to BEL to buy this defense research and development organization developed Anant Shastra air defense missile system, which was earlier known for the quick reaction surface to air missile system, and that's what some defense officials have told ANI, and we picked up this news flow from there. Vari Energies from the renewable energy space is going to be in focus. It's India's largest solar panel maker. It's under investigation in the US for alleged evasion of anti-dumping and countervailing duties on solar cells in China and other Southeast Asian nations by labeling them as made in India. So that's something that the company has informed the exchanges about. It has said that they are cooperating with the US investigations. In the past they have done so and will continue to do so in the ongoing one as well. So those are some stocks that you can keep an eye out on us. Now Vaishali is back with us. Vaishali, the markets are nearly settling in the pre-open trade. What's your thought? We have about a 65-67 point of an uptick after 6 days of a rout in the markets. We've already lost 16 lakh crore rupees of a market cap in the last 6 days of a sell-off, 24,728. Now, what's your thought for this fresh and new week?
Very good morning, Sakshi. So yes, actually, Friday's move was a bit disappointing. So for now, we would say 24,500 acts as a near-term support. 500, 550 is the support band. But if we see a decisive move below that, it could trigger a further selling pressure coming towards 24,200. So I think wait and watch scenario. For the immediate basis, I would say 24,500 to 25,000 levels, and on a broad base for the week, I would say 24,200 to 25,200. Even Bank Nifty, if we are talking about, well, that too broke the support levels, and we saw a good selling pressure coming in. So I think now in sync with Nifty, I think this can go towards 54,000 or perhaps 53,800. So I guess for now, I think it's a corrective bias.
Okay, so we've also seen between the two indices, the Nifty and the Nifty Bank also being under pretty much quite a bit of pressure over the last 1 week also. How are you going to be looking at Nifty versus the Nifty Bank for this new week?
So when I'm looking at individual sectors, all sectors are showing a corrective move, and it's only right now Larsen and perhaps Reliance. These are the stocks which are supporting the market. So even the advances what we see is much lower as compared to the decline as per last week's data. So unless and until we see some good participation coming from the front line, it's very hard to tell. So I think maybe we may see a 24,500 level. Nifty reaching towards those levels.
Okay, so a corrective phase that could continue, but as we see the Nifty in settling in the pre-open trade, 24,728, we are also given to understand at least all the sectors could begin with a positive bias, and we could actually see names like Realty and IT that were facing quite a bit of pressure last week, last couple of sessions. We could again see some buying emerge from the lowest level for these sectors. Autos, oil and gas could also be in focus. We'll also keep an eye out on India VIX. That has been constantly moving high for the last couple of sessions. Now at 11.4, about 5-6% higher it moved up on Friday. So let's see whether there is any cool off on India VIX again. Now on the stocks, we could again focus on names like Eternal, Tata Motors, BEL, Dr. Reddy's, Infosys. These are the names, or IndusInd Bank also, which is on the radar of even brokerage houses, could be in focus as well. And of course, we'll keep an eye out on the consumption focused sectors, autos, FMCG, consumer durables that have been, completely in our focus because of how the festive season coupled with the GST rate cuts are impacting the sentiments and the sales in these particular sectors. Vaishali, do you see some profit booking continuing for these FMCG, consumer durables, autos? For instance, autos have already rallied about 10 to 13%, 10 to 30 odd percent over the last 1 month. And in the last 1 week, we did see quite a bit of profit booking also take shape. So will that dip be bought into? Will there be more profit booking in these consumption focused sectors? How is your approach to these sectors?
So when I'm talking about the auto index on the whole, it is currently at a make or break level. So we are at 26,600 level. So I think if this support is held on, I think we may see new round of momentum setting in the auto sector. But if 26,600, 550 levels break decisively, then that could trigger a further selling pressure coming in this sector as well. So I think right now we'll wait. The bias still continues to be positive.
Okay, got that. So that's also going to be in focus. Let's also look at the IT pack, for instance. I was marking out, Vaishali, how 2 lakh crore rupees of a market cap, got lost in the last 5 to 6 days of a move on the lower end. In fact, TCS contributed 50% of that market cap loss as well from the large cap space. How are you looking at the IT pack that's been reeling under pressure all along last 1 week because of changes in the visa policies and the announcements that came in US that continued to put some pressure on the IT pack? How are you looking at this?
Well, so for now, of course, it shows a corrective move, but only consolation, Sakshi, is that when I'm looking at the indicators, especially the RSI on the daily chart, it is showing exhaustion in selling pressure. I'm talking about the IT index on the whole. So, if this level, the low, Friday's low is respected, then I think the worst is over and we can see a bounce back coming in. But if we see a break of Friday's low, then that could trigger further selling.
Okay, fair point. Vaishali, let me also ask you on, the pharma space as well. On Friday, we actually saw like all the pharma stocks come under heavy pressure, and this was only on the back of 100% tariffs that were imposed by the US on the pharma space, specifically for all the branded and the patented exports that are going to the US. Now, most of the analysts that we spoke to on Friday did tell us that since major part of Indian exports are in the generics category, the first impact is negligible or very low because most of the exposure is only in the generics category, and that category hasn't been touched upon yet. It's only on the branded and the patented markets, and for that we actually have a report from brokerage houses on the pharma space, specifically talking about Sun Pharma. HSBC has said that US administration has announced this 100% tariff on imported patented drugs from 1st of October. Unless the firms build plants locally, among Indian companies, they find only Sun Pharma having a sizable sales from patented drugs in the US, and they await the clarity on tariff flows but expect limited impact of 8 to 10% risk to FY27 estimated EPS for Sun Pharma. They still hold with a buy rating and a target price of 1850 in the worst case of a scenario as well. How are you looking at the pharma space as a whole? What would you do with Sun Pharma, which is immediately being seen as the one that is being hit?
So yes, people were always very wary of getting into pharma sector as well as the IT sector because, well, we were envisaging this issue of the tariff. So talking about pharma sector to begin with, well, it has been only in a consolidation phase. Nothing really was happening. So technically, if I talk about pharma index itself, 21,200 is the actual support level, and the resistance was at 22,800 or so. So we were hence focusing more on the domestic play like the Mankind Pharma, Zydus, etc. Now, post this issue of tariff that we are hearing, we saw a beating in almost all the pharma stocks. Now, talking about Sun Pharma per se, I think it's overreacted. It's an opportunity to buy, start accumulating because I don't see much of a downside coming in from here. 1520 should act as a good support level.
Okay, fair point. Let's start looking at the markets. We've started on a higher note. 24,700 is with us right in the open. 50 points higher in trade is what we've started off with. Real estate, autos, metals, they are opening with gains among the sectors, about half odd percent higher in trade. Even though India VIX is also up by half odd percent, FMCG starts on the back foot, 2/10% lower, but rest of the sectors still hold up. When we look at the Nifty Bank, minor gains there, 0.06% odd. This is largely led by gains across the board, but they are minor. Even IT stocks are starting 0.3% higher in trade. Let's look at autos that continue to be in the driver's seat, 0.6% higher. Among the sectors, this is the top mover. Metals follow, half odd percent of a move there. Let's also look at some of the other names like PSU banks that had been garnering some traction, half odd percent gains there. Among the stocks, you have Eternal as the top mover on the Nifty, 325 odd levels there, 1.5% up. BEL, after getting that huge order from Indian Army, 1.5% up. You also have Tata Motors that's inching higher now, 0.8% higher for this one. Let's also look at, remember this stock has been in focus and was under pressure on the back of the calculation that a lot of analysts had done that the JLR impact because of the cyber attack would be more than the profits of JLR for FY25. So that was something that was keeping the sentiments low. It's picking up pace now, 0.6% up. Cipla, IndusInd Bank, Mahindra and Mahindra, these are the other stocks that are also holding up in trade among the top movers. Which are the top laggards in trade right now? You have names like HUL, that's dragging, 2473 is the current level. You can actually see a decline of almost 1.5% there. Asian Paints, Nestle also falls back. HDFC Bank, Axis Bank from the private sector banks are behind. You can see L&T, HCL Technologies also among the top losers in trade right now. Let me also look at some of the stocks within the PSU basket. You have again oil related stocks, some railway related stocks that garnered some traction last 2 weeks. You can see IRFC, RVNL also up in about in trade. Oil related stocks like Oil India, BPCL is also higher. Power related names are also up and about in trade right now. More sectors coming into the red. Now you have private banks and financial services along with FMCG also slipping in trade. Vaishali, how would you look at the opening in the markets?
Well, as I said, it's not sustaining. So let's still wait for another 15 minutes as to if we are breaking Friday's low, we are heading for further downside, or else let's see. 15 minutes is very hard to make a view, but I still maintain that we could see in further some selling pressure coming in.
Okay, fair point. So let's actually look at the market settling in the first 15 minutes and then we'll come back to Vaishali as to how to see the trend more clearly. Difficult to make a call right now. Anything within the Nifty 500 names that's catching our attention? You have names like very few names that we can talk about. Suntech Realty is up by 6%. You also have Swan Defense that's up by 5%. Sambhavli Sugars is up in trade today. You also have very far and few between names that are actually buzzing. In Vascon Engineers is up, very few names there. Let me talk about the Nifty next 50 names. What's picking up pace here? CG Power is up, Adani Power is up, PFC is up. You have these power related names that are definitely moving up. Adani Green is up. So some of the Adani stocks that are also taking higher. You have JSW Energy, Tata Power also pulling up, REC pulling up. So a lot of these power related names holding up. Some railway related counters, Info Edge is moving up as well. Auto related counters like Hyundai is up. You can talk about LIC that's also up and about in trade. Banks, let's talk about. Within the banks, you have names like Aavas Financiers, 361 WAM, Poonawalla FinCorp, Dhani Services, names like even IFL Finance, PNB Housing. All of these names that are also ticking up slowly in trade at this point in time. Vaishali, when we talk about the top movers today, we have BEL in focus consistently, 402 right now. What's your thought on this defense name? In fact, the defense space as a whole has been in focus. We had the shipbuilder names on the back of announcements by the government, focus on 3 key areas and schemes getting launched there as well. So the defense names are back in focus. What's your thoughts there? Any key specific stocks you like?
Definitely, Sakshi. So I think we spoke about BEL, and I think that's one of the favorites because, in spite of all the choppiness, what we are witnessing in the market, this trend is pretty much intact. So I would say this stock becomes a buy at every decline, keeping in mind 385, 390 as a very good support level. And I think in times to come, this makes a very good positional trade as well. We can foresee a target of 420, 430 in times to come. Along with that, if you're asking me, look at Ashok Leyland, which we have often spoken about. That too, the trend is very much intact and slightest chance that the market is trying to show a bounce. We are seeing a good recovery coming in this stock as well. So for now, I would say 146 acts as a crucial resistance level. And above that, we can expect a target of 160 and so on. So, well, there are quite a few stocks at this juncture which are holding on to a good trend. We spoke about L&T Finance also, I think, last week. So these are the stocks I would be comfortable when a vulnerable situation like this.
Okay, fair point. Let's also welcome our other guest on board. We have Prashant Tapse from Mehta Equities also joining in on the program with us. Warm welcome to you, Prashant. Good to have you with us. Good morning. Your sense on the markets last 5-6 days have been pretty forgettable in the markets because the markets have lost quite a bit of ground from where we started to move up from August 29. We've given up 80% of the gains already, especially in the last 1 week. Your sense of how will the markets move from here on? What will be important to track as retail investors in this week?
I think overall the focus should be on the FIS selling numbers. Again, it has rise towards 5,000 crores per day. That would be a major point one should focus on. Second, again, there will be a lot of headlines being made by the Indo-US meeting, which will be keeping on markets very volatile. But again, I think overall the points which have been given up from last 1 week, almost 800 points from the recent highs, we are almost near the near-term bottom. I think 24,600 can be a level where market can see some kind of bottom levels. And then again, data-driven economic, like we have RBI meeting, we have US farm data. So data-driven and events-driven will keep markets on a very neutral to consolidation zone. But again, any positivity from the India-US trade deal headlines will keep markets in a positive zone.
Okay, fair point. Any key sectors that you prefer, Prashant, or any key stock ideas that you are still bullish on despite all the volatility that we've been seeing in the markets?
I think auto ancillaries should be the stock sector one should focus more on. We have seen how auto as a sector in the front line, like Maruti, like Honda and all, have moved a lot. So auto ancillaries will similarly get some kind of bigger visibility in terms of order book from their vendors like Maruti and Honda and Tata Motors. So I think auto ancillary stocks like Bellrise can be one stock one should focus on, and Motherson Sumi can be a second stock one should focus on. So I am morely focused on that. And again, life insurance as a sector should also be focused. We have to see all the business updates post this GST reduction up to the zero. So I think Nuva Bupa would be one stock which I am focusing more on. SBI Life can be one stock I am focusing more on. So auto ancillaries as well as the life insurance companies should be highly watched.
Okay. Vaishali, let's also talk about some of the other movers. We'll come back to Prashant in a bit to ask about some of the other key sectors there. How are you looking at Eternal 326? It's been one of the beneficiaries again of the GST cuts because of its huge presence in quick commerce space. That's become at least the choice of looking at purchases for at least the urban consumer at large. And how would you look at even the food delivery space there?
I think considering all the charts of time period, weekly chart as well as the monthly, I think long-term trend is pretty much intact. So this low that was made on Friday should act as a crucial support level, that is 315, 320. And we would observe a range of 315 to 335. Above 335, it's back on track for a further projected target of 350, 360. So for now, it's definitely a positive view.
Okay, got that. Prashant ji, coming back to you, tell me again the consumer focused sectors. Are you looking at that again bullishly for this new week also, or are you shifting focus to some other sectors this time?
So again, consumer sectors would be the more focused area of the way how festival season has started post this Ganpati festival. I think a lot of consumer-driven sectors would be very much in positive. We have to wait and watch for the business updates which the companies will be giving every month in the first week of every month. So that will be one key trigger for the markets, how consumer-driven stocks will be going on doing. Again, we will be entering into the Q2 season very soon in the October 15th. So I think a lot of events data-driven will keep markets under focus, and consumer-driven will be highly focused.
Okay. Let me also ask you on some of the other key sectors as well to help us out with. We're seeing the real estate sector now pick up some pace. Again, this was a beaten down sector last week. What's happening in the real estate story?
See, overall, again, very positive on the sector. Again, the way how the GST reduction will be helping all the sectors which will be the cement or any other sectors which will benefit the real estate. But again, we have to wait and watch on the RBI meeting which is due very soon in 2-3 days. So I think if there is a interest rate cut again, it will be a big boost for the real estate sector as well as on the other sector. But I am expecting this time RBI may not cut interest rate the way they were cutting from last 3 to 4 meetings. So overall, real estate sector, I think there will be a consolidation phase in this stock. In this sector, again, one should focus more on Godrej properties. That would be a very much bottom level stock for me at this point of time.
Okay, Vaishali, to you, we've been seeing names like Anantraj fly away. Even today, it's up by 3.7%. Phoenix Mills, Godrej Properties that you very closely track as well, Lodha, all of them are in the buzz. In fact, Sunteck Realty has also launched 20,000 odd crore rupees worth of ultra luxury homes in Mumbai, and that's going to be in focus again. How are you looking at this entire space?
Well, so talking about Anandraj to start with, I mean, it
Yeah.
has got an established good uptrend coming in. So for me now, of course, it's already showing strength as the day has begun. But to those who have missed out, one can still consider buying, keeping in mind 660 acts as a very good support from here on. And I think looking at the long-term charts, even on a weekly chart, we are seeing it's come out of the range, after a very long time. So I think one can expect a target of around 800, 850 to start with, and 650 acts as a support. So this makes a very favorable risk reward ratio. Along with that, if you look at HBL Engineering, that too has got a very good established trend, and this stock also is showing good strength. So this too becomes a good buying opportunity. I would say that yes, 800 acts as a support. Look for a target of 900, 920.
Okay, fair point. I hope this has also helped you out. Let's actually now focus on some of the other group stocks. I think, the Tata group is clearly getting into focus. Because let's look at some of the stocks that are in focus in the gaining side. You have Titan that's up, you have Tata Steel that's up, you have Tata Motors that's also up in trade. Tata Consultancy Services that lost quite a bit of ground last week is also pulling up in space as well. Now remember, this is also coming in as a group company. Tata Capital is going to be launching its IPO that's touted to be the largest 2025 IPO that we are going to be seeing. In fact, we have also seen that the company has announced the price band for its 15,000 crore rupee plus IPO as well. The subscription for that opens on October 6th. So that's going to be clearly one of the biggest IPOs that we are going to be watching out for. The price band has been fixed from 310 to 326 rupees per share. Your sense, Prashant, as to how to look at this upcoming IPO, the first one after the last Tata Tech IPO came in nearly 2 years ago. How are you looking at that as an opportunity for investors? Tata Technologies has actually disappointed investors in the last 2 years. But Tata Capital coming in there, what kind of opportunities does it present to retail investors?
I think with respect to the pricing which they were declared yesterday, I think with that price, I think the valuation looks very much decent in line with what the other NBFCs are trading today. But again, given the opportunity, the NBFC space is doing good at this point of time. I think the way how the consumer finance is going forward, so it's the right time for Tata Capital to come in and tap the opportunity, get into listed. I'm very much positive on the NBFC as a space. Again, the valuation of Tata Capital is looking very attractive at this point of time. Earlier in the pre-IPO deal, their stock was trading around 700 to 800 rupees few months back, and I think the pricing which they have done this time, I think it's very helping the retail investors to make some kind of decent money on the table.
Okay. To you, Vaishali, any Tata Group stocks that you are betting big on at this point in time?
Actually, it was a Tata investment itself. It had shown us such a robust move.
Yes.
So I think I would continue to stay positive on this because that has got a confirmed uptrend right now. I would say to those who have bought should continue holding for a target of 9,500 to 10,000 in times to come. So I think I'm comfortable with Tata investment right now.
Okay, got that. I hope this has also clearly helped you out. Okay, I think it's the real economy sectors that are pulling up in trade instead of the consumption oriented phases, Prashant. Look at real estate, look at metals, look at PSU banks, look at oil and gas. These are the top 4 sectors that are truly linked to the real economy at this point in time. How are you looking at this fresh move on the original sectors that used to pull the economy higher? How are you looking at those sectors now?
I think yes, real estate as well as PSU banks, these two sectors should be called as the real mover of the economy. I think whatever things move first comes into banks and again then real estate. So these sectors are looking very good for me at this point of time. But again, we have to wait and watch for the Q2 earnings. There should be some kind of earnings uptick which was missing in the Q1 time. So I think overall the focus should be on the earnings show, and focus should be on the PSU. I think PSU can do better. I think Bank of Baroda and SBI can deliver better numbers in terms of earnings in this Q2 earnings.
Okay, got that. First 15 minutes of candle is formed, Vaishali. What is the suggestion right now? Are you seeing the markets pick up in pace, or is the trend still uncertain at this point in time?
Well, I would consider it as a bounce back strategy right now. So I would go small trading strategies for the day till we get clarity and confirmation in the trend of the major index.
Okay, got that. I hope this has also helped you out in overall understanding the trend that's going to shape up the markets from here on. Let's also talk about some of the other key sectors, and the banking space is something that I wanted to bring in for Prashant, you also, to give us a sense on. We've been seeing some pickup in the PSU banks of late. Today also, that's the leading index within all the segments of the Nifty bank right now. Nifty bank also lost quite a bit of ground last week, in trade as well. Your sense on how are you approaching the banks? There are two triggers that we are awaiting. One is, of course, what is underway, the festive demand that is leading to some kind of a credit demand for this entire banking space within autos, consumer durables being financed. Second of all, it's the RBI policy that we are going to be watching out for starting today till Wednesday, and Wednesday will be the outcome. We are yet to find out what will be the policy rate cut scenario, but what exactly is your sense how to approach the banks amidst both these triggers?
Very positive again, the way how the credit is going, very positive in the festival season. I have read some news saying that almost 3x of credit card spending has happened from the last few days, a few weeks at least. So that will be a lot of positivity for the credit growth for any bank. Again, SBI card would be one of the one and only standalone company which is listed in the card business. Again, HDFC will also see some kind of uptick because of the largest market share in the card business. So I'm very much positive on the NBFC space of the banking industry, but again, very less on the banking as a sector.
Okay, fair point. I hope this has also truly helped you out there. Let's look at some of the other spaces that are picking up some pace. Vaishali, how are you looking at the metals, for instance, right now? What's your thought there?
So I think, well, the index has already run up quite a bit, so we may see some stock-specific movement. On the whole, the index can take a breather, but I'm still looking at Hindustan Zinc, Hind Copper. They look pretty attractive for a good positional upside. So yes, because most of it, like JSW Steel, Jindal Steel and Power, Hindalco, they've shown a good run up. So I think these frontline metal stocks can give a breather, but the other stocks can be looked into.
Okay. Prashant, also wanted to get your sense on the infra major L&T. Today, Bank of America Securities has come out with a report. It has downgraded Larsen and Toubro to underperform from buy rating, even though kept the target price at 3,700, and believes that the outperformance now leaves just little upside potential. The stock is already up 10% in the last 2 months, and now with the Hyderabad Metro exit, we are looking at how this could impact the earnings going forward. Although BofA is positive on that going forward, ROE expansion could be achieved through buybacks, and that's something that they are penciling on. How are you looking at all these situations?
Despite the downgrade, I think I'm very much positive as a proxy for an infra play in India. I think almost 15 to 20% of whatever India is going to spend will directly, indirectly come to the order book of L&T. So that in that way, again, valuations are very much comfortable for me with limited downside from the current levels. I may not be surprised to see the stock will deliver near to its all-time high, which is at 39.64. So I think that would be very much near for the in any technical terms, I think at least. So overall, very comfortable to have a fresh buy position on L&T, and again as a long-term investor also.
Okay. Vaishali, what about you? How are you looking at L&T technically right now?
Well, so we have had a buy rating on this. We had given a buy call also because, as you saw on Friday, well, we saw a breakout coming in and we were looking at a target of 4,000, 4,200. Even now, maybe because of this rating, we are seeing some profit booking, but it does not damage the trend as long as 3,600, 3,550 levels are intact. So I think maybe that momentum has fizzled out right now, but I think I still have my open targets of 4,000, 4,200.
Okay, fair point. I hope this has also helped you out. Prashant, are you also penciling in something from the RBI policy this week? What exactly is your expectation there on the rates front? Will RBI have a surprise for us? Will there be a cut or will it remain on a status quo mode? And what does that have to do with the market sentiment also?
I think there will be a status quo as per my readings in terms of all the data points which I am going to see in the festival season. All the four cuts in last four meetings have been already discounted, and I think that is more than enough for a markets to look at the liquidity in the market. I don't expect anything in terms of cut, but again, positive outlook on the GDP growth due to the festival season as well as on the additional GST cut. So I think there will be no surprise in terms of cut, but again, the outlook will be revised going forward.
Okay, we'll keep an eye out on that. Let me also pull up some of the other gainers in trade. We have India Bulls Housing Finance as 8% higher in trade among the gainers within the NBFCs. Within the pharma space, you have Wockhardt Pharma. That's up by 5.8%. Remember, viewers, on Friday we had an exclusive chat with the top management of Wockhardt, Dr. Habil Khorakiwala. We tried to understand from them what exactly is their thought on the 100% tariff on the pharma branded products. Although they did say that right now they don't have a manufacturing facility in the US, but the way how they can probably save from getting tariffs is they are already discussing 2 to 3 aspects there. One is getting drugs manufactured from a US manufacturing facility and thereby evading the tariffs on that front, and second is looking at the licensing agreements as well. Those are the opportunities that they are coming out with, but at this point in time he also did mention that overall the pharma industry might not get that much impacted because most of them deal with generics exports, at least for now, but did not look pretty perturbed with this kind of a decision coming in, as he believes that there are many ways of tackling this situation, at least for now. But of course it's difficult for him to understand what goes next, what could come in next on the pharma industry from Donald Trump. He did mention it's very difficult to understand what policy changes could come in, and therefore one has to be watchful of all those developments. Keep an eye out on Wockhardt. Usha Martin about 4.5% higher, GMDC another 4% up in trade is what we are given to understand at this point in time. Your sense from these top 4-5 movers, Vaishali, any of the names that actually take your attention within the gainers?
I have always been tracking Wockhardt very closely, and I think currently it's quite a good attractive buy. I would take Friday's lowest stop loss, that is 1325, and I would recommend a buy because I think this once again makes a good favorable risk reward ratio because we are studying the overall long term trend and which is still intact. So I think this would make a good trade, and if my view goes right, this can go towards 1550, 1600 to start with.
Fair point. Prashant, do you think Wockhardt Pharma is also on a positive path from here on, and what's your overall sense on the pharma space? Any top choice of stocks that you still are bullish on?
In the pharma, I think granules can be one stock one should focus more on, both on fundamentals as well as on the technicals. We are very much bullish on the business model what granules is doing right now, and the valuation front again very positive at the current level. So I think pharma as a sector, I think that will get digested with all the tariff update from the US administration. I think the 100% is not so good for the sector, but again India as a sector would look for some kind of alternative supplies for the production of what India is doing. So overall the downside is very limited. The worst has gone down, but again surprises can keep some kind of pressure in the sector, but again the focus would be alternate business model for all the pharma companies in India.
Okay, got that. All right, Vaishali, what else are you picking up in the market? Where is the momentum taking your attention to right now?
have a look at the energy index,
Okay.
which, because that has been one of the sectors which has not participated. And I think look at the OMCs, Oil India, Reliance to start with, of course. So these look pretty attractive. In fact, all OMCs are in momentum. Even Reliance has held on its fort very well. So I would focus on these stocks for now.
Okay, fair point. We'll keep an eye out on that. Viewers, meanwhile, keep an eye out on gold yet again. MCX October gold contract has hit a new record high of 1,14,627 rupees per 10 grams. And you can actually see this is coming in right ahead of Diwali, newer records being formed. We've been seeing gold and silver, the unstoppable rally there, and gold continues to shine bright yet again. Prashant, how are you looking at this unstoppable and crazy rally? This is probably, very, very dizzying heights that gold and silver prices have now reached to. How does one deal with this?
So obviously, yes, it is a surprise to see gold has been rallying from last 6 to 8 months. But again, India has a different story. We are always buyers in the market. From last 1 week, I am seeing the gold shop have been full, in terms of festival season, and the demand is going to be very high again. So globally, again, lot of central banks are accumulating gold, which has been the best strategy for all the central governments in the world. But again, I think the rally will continue. I think 1,25,000, 1,32,000 can be a target for very soon till Diwali. So the overall trend is very positive.
Okay, all right, Vaishali, to you. What are you doing with the gold and silver prices at all-time highs? Are you going to be going to the nearby jewelers, or are you going to be only investing via digital gold at this point in time in silver? What's your thought?
Actually, I'm regretting. I wish I had bought more of gold and silver than stocks.
I think that's the FOMO that all retail investors are facing, and most of the experts have missed out on this rally because we already thought that gold and silver were too hot to handle at that time, but they continued to catapult higher 2 years or 4 years in a row when we have actually seen gold and silver prices overtaking stock market returns on a Diwali to Diwali basis as well. We had brought out that research for our viewers as well. So Prashant, from this point, if retail investors and clients come to you and say, since gold and silver have been outperforming equities, what is your sense that at this point in time should fresh investors be doing? Should they be betting big on gold and silver at record high levels, or should they be betting big on Nifty, which has been an underperformer?
So timing, I think equity should be the focused approach
Okay.
for clients. But again, I have seen a lot of missing diversification to gold and silver. So better to have a ETF fund in their portfolio at this point of time. So not to directly bet on the physical gold as well as the SGB gold bond. So overall, there should be some kind of space in the portfolio for gold and silver, which is been missing in last many years. So, but again, focus should be more on equity because I think for next 1 year, equity can deliver better than gold.
Okay, got that. So equity is where Prashant is going to be clearly focusing on. Vaishali, what about the jewelry stocks or the gold financing stocks? Are you looking at those at all, maybe as proxy plays within the equities?
Yeah, so some of them like Kalyan Jewelers or PNG Gadgil, all these are quite attractive. So yes, they look positive.
Okay. So that's as far as the asset allocation there between equities. We've discussed quite a bit of segments, gold and silver, and how to play that in the equity markets as well, viewers. But let's talk about the IPO space too. IPO boom has definitely defied the market downturn this time around Prashant. They've mobilized 1.7 lakh crore rupees in a year already. And we're seeing almost like 5-6 IPOs being talked about in a single week. How are you looking at this fresh breath of IPOs that are coming in? We discussed about the largest one that's coming in on Tata Capital, but there are many small ones that are coming on an everyday basis. Even difficult to keep a track on which IPO is opening today, which one is closing today, because just the volumes are too much. How are you advising clients on that? Any new IPO that came onto your radar?
I think it was a very difficult space for an analyst to cover so much of IPOs. There was like
Yeah.
a chosen pick for us. So we chose one company which was Shai Technology, which was into BFSI. That was a great business model. So that was one recommendation latest which we had recommended for our IPO clients. But again, I think we were waiting for the Tata Cap. That would be the next stock one should focus more on. But again, the other companies like EPAC, Freeback, or BMW Ventures, True Alt, again, we did not cover because of the valuation as a concern in markets. as a concern. So overall, last IPO was one CSI Technologies and 9 Tata Technology. Tata IPO, Capital can be one stock to focus on.
Okay, got that. All right, 9:45. First half an hour candle is from Vaishali. What's your final thought on the markets?
I think it's ready for a bounce. So yes, let's stay optimistic.
Let's stay optimistic. Prashant, to you, Nifty Bank, what are you going to be betting big on?
I think Nifty can be a stock one should focus on after 5-6 days of continuously lower lows and lower highs. So I think that would be some kind of pressure for the markets for a short-term short covering. So I think markets can head towards 24,820, which is the level we are waiting for.
Fair point. So no Monday blues, at least in the morning, half an hour of trade. Let's see how this pans out. Both our guests are bullish on the markets from here on. They're getting ready for a bounce back, and let's hope that that is the situation as well. Thank you so much, Vaishali and Prashant, for being with us in the morning edition, guiding all our viewers through a lot of segments, sectors and strategies that they must follow in the markets as well. Viewers, what we'll do is start to wrap up the morning trade in market today. 92 points higher for the Nifty, 24,748. You could also look at the sectoral action there. Oil and gas, PSU banks, metals in the front leading zone, almost 1.5% higher. Real estate, pharma follows. Even the mid and the small caps gaining about 0.7% odd in trade. IT is up, banks are up in trade. Only FMCG is down by 0.3% as of now. Top movers on the Nifty, you have BEL, Eternal, Sun Pharma, Titan and IndusInd Bank. On the lower end, however, you have names like Axis Bank, HUL, L&T, Tata Consumer Products, Maruti and Nestle as among the top drags at this point in time. So we'll leave you at that, but do stay tuned on to Business Today Television. Throughout the course of the day, we are going to be, marking for you all the market moves that are important for you to track. And of course, we are keeping a tab on how the festive season is progressing. So we are going to be joined by the top management of Blue Star at 10 a.m. Join us for that to try and understand how these room AC sales are going through as far as this festive season is concerned, and what is the kind of expectation of this consumer durables giant Blue Star as well. So stay tuned for that. I'll be back for that.